Okay, this video is talking about applying systems of equations to word problems. And I know that there's other ways to solve these problems without using systems, but I want you to know how to use a system to solve a word problem. So I'm expecting it to be done that way. So these first two problems are coin problems. And with coin problems, there's two different pieces of information that you're going to get. One is the number of coins the person has. So he's got 5 of this and 3 of this or 2 of that. So how many coins he has altogether. And then also the value of the money of what the coins are altogether. So in this first one, Andrew has a collection of nickels and dimes worth $1.30. He has 13 coins. How many does he have of each? So we're going to write a system. Well, the first thing we're going to do is declare our variables. And each system has two equations and two variables. So in this problem, they're talking about two things. One thing is the number of nickels. The other thing is the number of dimes. You're going to use those two variables to write your equation. So in the first one, it tells us that we have 13 coins. So we don't know how many he has of each, but we know altogether it's 13. So then if we add the number of nickels plus the number of dimes, we know it'll equal 13. So that's one of our equations. Now we need to write a second equation for the value of the money. Well, nickels are worth 5 cents. Technically, that's 0.05, but working with decimals isn't very fun. So instead, we're just going to say 5 times x. So if we're trying to figure out how much the nickels is worth, let's say we had 3 nickels, we multiply it times 5 and we get 15. So we know it'd be 15 cents. So we don't know how many nickels Andrew has, but whatever he has, I'm going to take that number times 5 and I'll get the value. Same thing with dimes, but instead of 5, this time it's going to be 10. Now, let's think about this for a second with the nickels. Nickels are technically 0.05, but we wrote 5 and we moved the decimal over twice. So right now I need to write the value of the money, which is $1.30. But to make it work, since I moved the decimal over twice on the left, I need to move it over twice here. So it's going to be 130. Now that I've got two equations with two variables, I'm going to solve my system. So I'm going to multiply the top one by -2, which gives me -2x minus, oh, not by -2. What was I doing? Not by -2, by -5. I'm sorry. Multiply by -5. So I get -5x minus 5y equals -65. Now I'm going to add these together. The x's cancel and I get 5y equals 65. I divide by 5, and so y is 13. Just like any system, once you know one variable, you know the other. The top equation is clearly easier to plug it in. So I know that nickels plus the dimes, which is 13, equals 13. Well, that's simple. X is 0. So now, because it's a word problem, we're going to write our answer and label it. So we have 0 and X is nickels, so 0 nickels. And then 13 dimes. Okay, let's try this again for number 2. This time, Katie has a collection of quarters and dimes worth $1.65, and she has 12 coins altogether. So again, we're going to declare our variables. So as we're looking at this, there's two types of coins. One is quarters and one is dimes. I'm going to make quarters the X since it's listed first. So X is going to be the number of quarters. Y is going to be the number of dimes. Okay, so first of all, we can make two equations. They both have to have two variables. The first equation is going to talk about the quantity of coins. Well, I know if I take the quantity of quarters plus the quantity of dimes, it's going to equal 12 coins. Now I'm going to write a second equation for the value of the money. Well, a quarter is 25 cents. So if I take 25 times the number of quarters, I'll know the value of the quarters. And if I add to that 10 times y, that's going to give me the value of the dimes, and it's got to equal $1.65. But remember, we got to move the decimal over 2 places again, so it's actually 165. Okay, now we need to solve. So to solve, we are going to multiply the top equation. How about we multiply it by -10 this time? That's going to give us -10x minus 10y equals -120. when we add that together, the y's cancel and I get 15x equals, 45. So then to solve, I'm going to divide by 15. So x equals 3. Now that I have x, I need to find y. Plugging it into this first equation will be the easiest. So I'm going to do 3 plus y equals 12. So to solve, we'll subtract 3, and y just equals 9. Now that I have my answers, I'm going to write it and label my answers. So x was 3, and 3 is the number of quarters. So Katie has 3 quarters, and she has 9 dimes. Okay, the second problem doesn't deal with coins, but it deals with the cost of food, but with idea is still the same. We still need to find we still need to write 2 equations with 2 variables. So my variables are going to remain x, and they're going to remain y. Let's read the problem to figure out what's going on. At a restaurant, a breakfast taco and a glass of milk is $2.10. In addition, 2 tacos and 3 glasses of milk is $5.15. We want to know the cost of each taco and a glass of milk. So the 2 things that we're looking at are tacos and milk. We want to figure out the cost of each thing. So x is going to be the cost of the tacos, and y is going to be the cost of the milk. Okay, so let's read the first sentence. 1 taco and 1 glass of milk is $2.10. So a taco is x, a glass of milk is y, and it was $2.10. This time we're going to go ahead and use decimals because I think it'll be easier for this application. On the next one, it says 2 tacos. Well, 1 taco is x, so 2 x's would be 2 tacos. 3 glasses of milk. 1 glass of milk is y, so 3 glasses of milk would be 3y. It equals $5.15. Okay, let's solve this system. So to do that, I'm going to multiply the top one by -2. That gives me -2x minus 2y equals -420. When I add them together, the x's will cancel. 3y minus 2y is just 1 positive y equals 0.95. Now that we found y, we need to find x. So I know that x plus y, which is 0.95, is 210. To solve, I'm going to subtract 0.95 from both sides. And so I get x to be 115. Okay, let's write out in words what we just figured out. X is 115. X is the cost of tacos. Because it's money, we'll put a dollar sign. So it's $1.15 for 1 taco. And we now know that 95 cents, Y, is the cost of milk. So for a glass of milk.